Orianna as well that we've seen sometimes here. Lyric was playing it a hell of a lot last season, but Weibo Gaming glancing over up towards the top side instead, as we've already seen a Sejuani top tonight.
Yeah, I wonder if it means we're going to see a bit of a tank top come in for Weibo. I mean, you still have the GP open, so you could go towards that. We obviously saw the Sejuani do quite well against that before, even though GP should just be able to farm and chill. Ornn is something we've also seen Sejuani picked into, so I wouldn't be surprised maybe if TheShy just goes back to a tank.
Oh, God, I can't deal with TheShy Ornn, though. We've been through so many shenanigans with that man at the top side, picking that champion. It was a Nivea the last time we saw him, and it got absolutely obliterated. It did not too well, Lyric, as Weibo Gaming are going to leave top for last pick, as you'd expect, giving on a support and then just conditioning to go through and find out which one that is. And honestly, we've only seen one other Bard, but range? Okay. Not Karma this time around as it gets banned away, of course. We get the Bard instead from On.
Yeah, so Weibo kind of pivoting into what could have, again, been like long range, poke, siege down the enemy team, and kite back into more of like a pick comp, right? Have Bard roam from lane early on, link up with SofM, set up some Tempered Fates, and catch enemies off guard. We'll see how they end up rounding it all out in the top lane. For the side of WE, though, now getting to pick their soul lanes themselves. BiuBiu going towards the Gnar pick, so TheShy going to have some answers he can go with into it. Now I'm curious to see what you go mid for Shanks. We've already hit on, again, things like Vex and LeBlanc traditionally. You still have the Swain open if you want to opt into close range team fights.
Yep.
I believe we've also seen this matchup picked in the LPL a few times, and they will go for it.
So standard. Feels really standard from the side of WE. We can talk about that comp in a second. What do you run into Gnar? Because a lot of the time people shied away from things like the GP with the range disadvantage, Lyric, but what are your thoughts?
I feel like you have quite a few options, right? Like, we've seen things like the Kennen. You already hit on the GP Jayce. Like, it's really the pick of the litter for the side of Weibo. And when you're running these sort of compositions where, again, it's a lot about kind of mid-jungle support linking up and getting into the enemy jungle, locking people down and finding picks, I really don't feel like your top lane influences it too heavily. But with this, they're at least going to try and generate some pressure in top, accepting the fact that the bot lane 2v2 could be a little bit annoying, and all leaning on TheShy. So for Weibo, again, a lot of movement out of mid-jungle is what we want to see. On being proactive and getting involved as well, using that CC, picking off an isolated member and turning a fight into a numbers advantage. Where for WE, definitely more 5v5 oriented when you have the Swain involved, locking numerous members down, keeping them close. You have the Pillar there as well to try to just catch enemies off. So two very different identities coming out for these teams.
I also want to point out that for Weibo Gaming, there's a lot of range there as well, Lyric. You know, you talk about picking off with the help of the Bard. I see Ezreal, I see Jayce, you know, and the ability to keep people at range on WE.
Yeah, I mean, right, they kind of rounded it out to where now they did have more long range coming out with that Jayce, so if they get on objectives, could be quite annoying. Even if they're not on objectives first, being able to whittle down the opposing squad, throw down a Tempered Fate, and then be able to follow up with additional damage. Weibo's composition definitely has options in terms of what it is able to do in the mid game and how it is able to play out. But still, all of it starting in the mid lane. Be really cool as well, getting Shanks back on the Rift and seeing how he gets to do against Angel, who we've touted as doing so well in these first few games. But my God, getting Smlz back on the Rift, I don't know how it's going to go, but just seeing it is going to be exciting. I mean, Kalista Renata coming through up against an Ezreal Bard. This is a lane where it feels like Smlz and Heal, can do well.
You're right. It's close enough, honestly. He's taken the
I feel like Reheal's cooler. I don't know why he did that.
Well,
I feel like Reheal's just a much sicker name.
Heal is a summoner spell, so he's kept it traditional. He's stayed within the realms of the game, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're not even going into game. It's a huge bait. Game one's already done, folks. And we've obviously got a technical difficulty. We're going to talk up Smlz, Shanks coming back on the Rift, BiuBiu doing well.
I just got to say, when that break was so short, I felt a technical difficulty coming. I'm like, wait. We're starting in like 3 minutes? There's no way. But yeah, here we are. Smlz, you were just saying. I'll ask you, how do you feel about Smlz? You were here in 2019, casting him back in the Sooning days.
That was on
where
the super team.
It didn't work out really at all.
That was on the super team, dude. I was disappointed. You know, that was the Shao Al, Hacker roster, Maple, Sword Art. And then, Smlz was the 80 carry. And I remember I went to the gaming house because back then Clement was doing a show. I can't remember what the show name was, but we were interviewing people. And we interviewed his Sword Art, you know, coming over from the LMS for the first time. Very cheery guy. And it was so exciting because this team was like, oh my god, this team could be going to Worlds, you know, in 2019. But they fell short. It was upsetting. I was kind of sad because, you know, after meeting the players, I was like, man, Suning could do it. But they did it the year after. So who am I to get upset, Lyric, as I welcome you back and welcome you in after a short pause. Weibo Gaming versus WE. WE looking for their first game, their first series. While I will say that Weibo Gaming have looked a little bit shaky around the edges. TheShy's not on a Nivea top, and I think for now, that might be for the best.
I think it's definitely for the best. I mean, right, TheShy's ability to maneuver the pick isn't something, like, worth going into the weeds of questioning, but, like, where the draft they picked it up against was just so questionable. So many dashes, so much range. Your wall really gonna have no value. You're never gonna be able to land a stun. This time around, getting back onto something more comfortable. They even offer him a ward from On. On dropped a ward up in that top lane brush to try to make sure he can win out through those trades. He's gonna sacrifice a bit on bot side, but On now having the sweeper, so try and clear out some vision for themselves. And junglers heading towards opposite sides of the map. A bit expected when we hit on for Weibo. They're playing around topside, right? It's about getting On out of lane. It's about moving Angel up to enable TheShy. It's where for WE, you have the Kalista Renata on bot side. Definitely going to be a lot about this 2v2 lane. And BiuBiu just going to have to absorb the pressure, which is a bit different from the head-to-head we set up, where BiuBiu, in their first series, got a lot more of the jungle attention than the other sides of the map.
That's true. Almost 32% of his team's damage. I mean, that's why we're talking about BiuBiu getting better and better each split, but mainly his relation with TheShy, where, remember, he was the V5 top laner, and TheShy has kind of always been seen as this behemoth in the league. Yeah, a bit back and forth in the past couple of years, but overall, if you consider TheShy since 2018, he has been a top 2 top laner, if not the best. So now going up against BiuBiu, it's father and son meeting up. And on the Jayce, let's be real, TheShy's Jayce, one of the best as well. It's going to be hard for BiuBiu Lyric as this matchup continues to be explosive.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be a lot about junglers, as we see now. Beishang trying to make his way over to... Oh, not even to enemy Raptors, looking for the gate mid.
Great pillar. Angel might have to flash, and he does so away from the never move. Beishang, quick and easy here on this Trundle.
And this is where we saw this WE team excel in 2021 summer playoffs, right? When they were starting to make that run where we were questioning if they were able to make it. I believe it was them and LNG both kind of starting very early on towards Worlds, and obviously LNG were the ones to make it, but a lot of it was based around the synergy that Beishang and Shanks had.
Good trade in the top side, though, while you're chatting, Lyric. TheShy able to hit down on BiuBiu. And just coming back to your point, yeah, that synergy was something that made them so unique. It was the League of Beishang, really, at that point as well. We've been there since 2019, and you know, WE have always had top-tier junglers. Never mind, let's look at top again. BiuBiu, hammer, boop, he's away.
I was going to say, the son's not having a good time in this matchup. TheShy showing why we coined him as the father and not the other way around. Still not finding too much of an advantage for himself. Will force a TP to come out from BiuBiu, but TheShy, once he gets this wave in, might even have to opt into one of his own. Doesn't have any mana, so won't be able to do too much more in lane, even though he is sitting on a biscuit. So still going to zone him out with the wave advantage. With how quickly he's forcing it in, you could tell TheShy just wanting a bit of a recall.
Wave shoving in top side, bottom side. It looks like it'll do the same as well. I learned some big brain stuff from from streamers once upon a time, with Heal pulling the whole wave Lyric onto himself and then pulling it onto the front minion so that Weibo Gaming's wave unintentionally pushes. How's that for clever?
I was a little bit behind on that one, but every day is a learning experience. There's always things to do better. For Weibo, I mean, I was wrong. TheShy didn't opt for the reset like I thought he would after he got that wave in, waiting for a cannon wave to come through. No, still wanting to aggressively stay and look for these trades.
Good Mega Gnar here from BiuBiu as well. TheShy running out of mana, as mentioned. So teleport might have to be burned. BiuBiu's burnt his own. But look in the top side. TheShy's able to do this because vision control right now in favor of Weibo Gaming for a mile. They'll see if Beishang makes his way up. This cameraman is obviously a Bard player, obsessed with the Caretaker's Shrine that's been set up for Huanfeng while he goes on a journey. Look at On, deep into the enemy jungle. He's ready to take down Shanks.
Yeah, this is what we're hitting on, right? For Weibo, it'd be very much a kind of a three-man joint effort. Though On, gonna get forced out.
He's got a journey, and the pillar's already come through, so away he goes. Good stuff from Beishang. Might even give him tempo on the bottom side here, Lyric, with First Dragon. Now spawning, and it is a Trundle. This will be a nice early objective from WE.
Yeah, Weibo trying to brute force their way into this one. I think this one could be a little bit rough. WE definitely very strong right now.
That's a level 3 Bard as well, so On doesn't have the level, the health bar behind him. Huanfeng still on the wave. Weibo Gaming not going to contest an SofM, getting not caught out for once as well, which is nice. So WE with the first dragon of the game. Angel didn't move either, but he now has level 6, and they continue to posture around mid, being super defensive of Shanks with his return back to the LPL.
Yeah, WE so far, I think doing quite nicely in terms of how they're playing out this early game. Again, around Shanks and Beishang, using their pressure in bot lane as well to hover up first, making sure that Weibo don't use their window, because sure, On was able to get away from the last play with his magical journey.
Oh, the sun looking better than the dad. The wall doesn't come down. The Q misses, he flashes.
Oh.
TheShy turns it back. Sit back in your place. Take your son to work day. Works out perfectly for TheShy.
And this is why we highlighted this matchup, because both of these top laners like to play aggressive. Both of these top laners like to look for those cheeky 1v1 kills. And TheShy, my God, almost was taken down. I'm not sure if it was a W or something at the end that missed from BiuBiu, but BiuBiu doing a nice job at finding the ult angle. But in the end, TheShy was able to tether. Gets this nice bit of burst down. The initial stun is what's able to come through. This is where the ult will follow forward. And I think here's where TheShy flashes away, and there it was. That stun not able to connect. BiuBiu flashing forward, and TheShy just able to re-engage once his cooldowns come back up. Maybe could have been able to finish off if that W landed.
Or the Q, right? It's a weird mix because you're like, well, BiuBiu didn't hit anything, but TheShy also flashed away. TheShy also stepped up. You know, he went and literally walked upwards. So yeah, a nice little mix there, and props to TheShy, but also unfortunate for BiuBiu. That solo kill meaning so much without the Vampiric Scepter. The tier picked up previously before. TheShy well and truly on his way to lane dominance. And, you know, it's like working in an accounting firm. You bring your son to work. What's he going to do, Lyric? What's he going to do there? He has to sit in a chair and watch you crunch the numbers.
No, he's gonna cry, and he's gonna want to go home, and he's gonna complain. And I know, because that's everything I would do if I had to sit in an accounting office.
And he might have 3 more days of this, you know, with the way things go on. So for BiuBiu, a rough start to the series as Angel now starts moving up as well. Seems like Weibo Gaming want to put pressure towards his top side with how well things are going, especially with the Herald now spawning.
Yeah, and that's why that was the dynamic we talked about, right? WE towards the bot side, Weibo towards top. WE now, though, since Herald is up, are going to be able to commit their bot side first. This should be a guaranteed Herald for them. I just wonder if they'll be able to find a fight, since SofM is still just sitting in their faces watching them take Herald.
Little true shot barrage here, tagging Smlz. It continues on and even stops the back of BiuBiu. TheShy pubbles him one more time. And doesn't stop the Herald at the very least. So WE picking up the objective, moving up to the top side, but Smlz and Heal are staying around for so long, while bottom lane is just getting hit hard by Huanfeng.
Yeah, so Weibo at least answering right that they consciously chose to keep Huanfeng on the bottom side of the map and look for a bit of plates themselves. WE, though, keeping their bot lane up here so far, able to potentially angle to get some good damage down onto the board. But I don't feel like too much should be able to come from this WE. It would be quite hard for Weibo to be able to find and engage on them. They don't have the Tempered Fate available yet either.
But SofM has a Heartbreaker, and TheShy is a strong level 8 Jayce. As SofM goes in, gets the Eye Smite down as well. That's a 2-man Shock Blast, but Weibo Gaming take it no further. Again, Lyric, really critical information you point out. On doesn't have his ulti, as Smlz and Heal get the push one more time, but this time seems to want to back away as Angel's actually caught on out. The never move here from Shanks. Quite nice from the mid laner that we highlighted so much on Weibo Gaming.
Yeah, great from Angel to come through. Also surprised that WE's bot lane aren't opting into resetting yet. I assume they probably want to do it after this way because Dragon get a couple in 55 seconds. So you definitely want to get your stronger lane down towards the bottom half of the map, especially considering it's a Kalista, so you can get started on that objective. The Ren going to come in very handy, and that's what they're finally going to do now. So lane swap coming out for WE. Can start to posture for that second dragon. You also have a TP advantage on BiuBiu, so will always be a threat of that numbers advantage able to come through. Still not post 14 minutes, so we'll just have to TP to a tower if any shenanigans do lay out.
It's just interesting, though, because we haven't really seen a lane swap like this for a while. So early into the game, giving a bit of tranquility to BiuBiu. And as you said, 20 seconds till the Dragon. Excuse me. We see Smlz moving back to lane, Heal doing the same. Note that he has a hostile takeover available here. So the support of WE going to pack a punch, but so does On. On's got the Tempered Fate, and in 10 seconds, we might see it used for the first time. This would be the first Dragon for Weibo Gaming, second for WE if they get their hands on it.
Yeah, Huanfeng going to TP down to the bottom lane now to be able to follow through if anything does happen, because Weibo doing a nice thing, kind of poking their heads into enemy jungle, then you hover towards mid, allow Angel to keep up his prio, and now it looks like they're looking for a bit of a pick onto Shanks, but Charm doesn't connect.
But remember, the Shanks just burnt the Ghost as well, so he's got to summon it down as they attempted to hit mid. Weibo Gaming slow on this objective. It's going to be a counterpunch here as the Cosmic Binding starts it off. Charm as well into Shanks, but the damage hasn't flowed through yet until the Orb of Deception. Tempered Fate is a two-man here, but the Dragon's already gone. Now WE looking for the turn. Health bar shimmering a little bit low with Huanfeng joining in off on the wing, but I think WE happy with this one. They're just trying to get out Lyric, and On is such a threat. With the Cosmic Binding that never reaches, WE eventually move out.
Yeah, and the reason why Weibo are so hesitant is because BiuBiu actually made his way down to mid lane. So BiuBiu was showing on mid wave when WE were taking the Dragon, so Weibo couldn't really follow up after the Tempered Fate hit on the two members. Would have just been, you know, more people there for the side of WE. So sadly for Weibo, not able to find the fight. Nice movement coming over from BiuBiu to make sure that is allowed to happen. Does make it so TheShy is able to force in another wave top, and now we can see Angel getting another play in mid. So at least for the side of Weibo Gaming, maintaining their gold lead.
Yeah, that 1K, 1.3K at this point. Dragons might spell a bit of doom later on, though, with the Mountain Soul coming through for WE. They've got a Gnar, they've got a Swain, and they've got a Trundle, more importantly. And Lyric, we talked a lot about the pick potential of Weibo Gaming, how they wanted to operate with this Bard who hasn't had much impact in this early game, at least in the first 12 minutes. But I want to transition back to WE and talk a little bit about how they operate in these fights, because their ultimates there, I guess, lockdown is quite significant as well.
Yeah, for WE, I mean, even if one member is just slightly too far forward, it turns into a pillar, and then you have the E come out from Swain, and it just snowballs one CC into another where you're able to find that pick and just take that fight, right? And heck, that's not even counting the Renata ultimate that you're able to follow through if other members try and come in and save the fight. So I actually really like WE's setup to be able to find a fight. For Weibo, on the other hand, again, I feel like it's a lot more rough. You do have a lot of mobility, so it can be hard to lock you down, or for Shanks, for example, keep up with an Ahri and Ezreal who are able to just weave in and out with their mobility. But still, right, you're relying a lot, in my mind, on that Tempered Fate to be able to come through. You're relying a lot on the resets to come out from SofM, so I think WE are a little bit more straightforward.
I like having a Trundle or a Gnar, or even, say, the Renata, right? Or I would say Kalista counts as that from Smlz. With the range there, yes, but Weibo Gaming, you bring up some interesting points. So there might be the gold lead, but harder to execute compositions. I think, especially where we're at right now, when we know that games are going, Lyric, a little bit longer, we are a little bit slower despite LPL at least keeping up some pace. It just feels like there's a lot of conditions right now that make me think that WE have a good chance in this game, especially with the two Dragons already picked up in the early game.
Yeah, game's definitely going longer, right? That is, like, undisputable. Today's game, I believe it was game 1 today. It was actually our longest game of the split so far. Might have even ended up our highest kill game of the split so far as well. But that's it, right? That's how these go with the LPL. Sure, our games are longer, but the action, the pace is not slowing down whatsoever. The durability changes coming through, the lack of dives coming through does mean that we're not breaking open the map as early as we did before. Even looking at these drafts, right, when you have like Jayce against Gnar in top lane, and you have a mid with prio, this would have been a great game to try and stack waves onto the Gnar and set up these dives, but just on this patch is very much harder, not allowing for those things to come through.
At the very least, look, it's a 30 CS lead in the top side, so even though it hasn't been constantly SofM getting up top side over and over, TheShy still doing well in his own 1v1, and I will say, whether it was this patch or previous patch, SofM doesn't really sit top consistently anyway, as we talked about in our opening segment.
Oh god, I remember the stats from last split. You look at the jungle proximity stats, and SofM in all of his laners are at the bottom of every list.
It was like 20th, wasn't he?
Yeah, and right, typically is, maybe I'll pause, is WE kind of pause. Okay, nothing gonna happen. For most teams, right, your jungle procs will be maybe like top 5 in top lane, but bottom 5 on the other side of the map, right? Because it's limited resource. For SofM, it's low across the board. He's never around anyone.
Oh, Everfrost comes through though. WE getting picked off. Weibo Gaming wanted to do exactly this. Angel flashing away from the hostile takeover. Still with the charges, SofM gets a reset in the Tempered Fate only onto the turret, but Weibo Gaming played that patiently, and it means that Smlz takes his first death of the split.
Really nice by Angel. We talked about how on Weibo's comp, a lot of it's coming from pick potential, the single target lockdown, the single target damage able to come through. They're able to set up the pick. Very liberal use of the Tempered Fate coming through. Also, this reminds me, the Bard, right? This was the success for Suning in 2020. It was Bard, it was Ezreal, it was like champions with CC potential in the mid lane. So kind of gives me a throwback to what made this a successful team. Sword Art not here though, but we'll see here. Able to land the Everfrost instantly into the charm, all the damage able to follow through from pretty much every member on the side of Weibo Gaming. And, you know, nice accelerated shock blast as a goodbye from TheShy at the end.
Yeah, I want to say hello though because it's third dragon and I want a bit more blood. It's like your wheat bix in the morning. How many do you do? Well, the True Shot Barrage does quite a bit. Huanfeng again targeting and hitting the majority of WE. He's been on point with his True Shot Barrage as his damage now starts being more significant. Beishang at half HP as SofM wants to deny it. As TheShy solo kills off the corner of our screen. The Gnar. Goodbye again, the sun. It's day number 2 and he's back in the chair.
Yeah, BiuBiu going back to his room on timeout. Weibo now going to be able to chase this one down. Tempered Fate lands.
It's beautiful as well. The Claw about to spell the doom, and WE being rinsed in their tomb. It's TheShy who picks up kill number 3. Weibo Gaming with a 5-0 start, and finally building momentum in this game 1.
Look, this is why TheShy is your favorite player, because there you are saying, I want more kills, I want more blood, and instantly TheShy's like, my dude, I got you. We're going to see how it happened here. Looks like BiuBiu's aware that TheShy is potentially in the area, still walks out. I mean, the all-in comes through, the flash into the W seals the deal, and TheShy getting extremely low. WE wanting to chase that one down, reheal using Smlz's ultimate to go in, just leaves you in this position to be picked off by the other members of Weibo.
It's a really night and day watching TheShy and Jayce versus Anivia, isn't it, you know? It's a very different vibe coming from the top laner, and you know, right into BiuBiu, who we talked about being such a big carry for WE, the primary damage dealer by far, has had nothing to say in this game, number 1. And WE, yeah, they might be trailing in gold, but all of a sudden since the last play, it's moved to 5,000. They lost the last dragon. They're contesting this second herald, but Weibo Gaming are like, forget it. We're going to go mid and take ourselves a bit of the bounty. Smlz getting a hard awakening here, Lyric, as he's welcomed back into the league.
Finding another kill, get a lot of damage down on the mid. We can see Angel taking top lane turret right now, so ultimately, I feel like trading up for the side of Weibo Gaming, you lose the Herald, but what will WE really even be able to answer with? They don't have control of sides, they lose both side lane matchups. They're going to just try and hard 5-man mid or you know, just bring numbers advantage somewhere to force a Herald play on the board, but it's so hard to lock the members of Weibo down.
Magical journey from On. Let's look again. Cosmic Binding that slows him down. On has been a lot better this split. Let's be real. Last series wasn't super amazing, but I think we really highlighted On's entry into the split, and on this Bard has been really, really nice. I will say, you know, Weibo Gaming working together also very, very nice, where being discoordinated has been one of their major root problems.
Yeah, it's coming together this time around. And again, it just took giving On a role that is a lot more like what Sword Art was doing, but BiuBiu's getting dove.
Yeah, once again, what do I say here? BiuBiu dealing with 2 people, and TheShy is now 4-0. I mean, WE are getting clobbered here. If it wasn't for the Dragons, it'd be close to a perfect game. It would be a perfect game, excuse me. No close about it, and especially not with the game stage. 7,000 now the lead. Heel has been bailed out by himself, but Huanfeng snipes him down. Goodbye, and now SofM saying hello to Smlz. This is hard to watch, and I've watched Eternals, Lyric.
Oh god, this game just turned into this so quickly as well, right? We were having like smooth back and forth early game, Weibo finding some CS advantages, WE picking up the dragons, and then ever since that one solo kill on bot side that Weibo were able to turn into so much, they've just slammed their foot on the gas pedal. TheShy right now is that dad who's like on his 4th beer of the night and he's pissed off. BiuBiu not in it for a good time.
Oh god.
As, you know, we won't go down that road of that analogy. Angel though finding some good charm and good damage onto the bot lane of WE, and then on just really nice to finish it off and give the kill over to Huanfeng.
And you know, as well as on being really clean, I think Huanfeng's had a very clean game. Nice on this Ezreal, hasn't had to do much is the other part of the poke package. But speaking of 6-pack and packages, Lyric, Weibo Gaming right now flexing. It's a 9k gold lead. This one feels like it's gone in the bin, and I'm not talking about the top laner of BLG. Well, I was going to say RNG. And at this point, I'm not going to ask you what WE do to get back in this game. I'm going to ask you how hard Weibo Gaming have to throw to lose this game 1.
You know, I feel like one ace into a Baron and the game is at least back in contention.
Wow. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Just got to pause. That's a Lumao level of Bard ulti there as everyone gets out, but someone is a burn. And Angel, as he ults away, WE just trying to defend mid lane turret. What were you saying? What were you trying to give me? Was it hope?
Yeah, well, no, you asked me, like, how much does Weibo need to int? And, I mean, realistically, I feel like, let's say if a fight happened and WE aced them and turned that into a Baron, they're now back in the game. Weibo would still be up in gold, I think, still favored, especially in terms of, like, how we're seeing the drafts played out. Them not really finding ways on top of the key targets of Weibo, but... You know, we don't need to explore alternate realities.
We don't.
This ain't a multiverse. We aren't Marvel or anything like that. Weibo just going to pick up the Baron, make their way towards Dragon, and WE aren't going to give a thing.
On that note, while we see the Mountain Dragon spawn and WE move to it, I cannot complain enough. Where were the Eternals when the world was burning down? Saves Tony Stark as WE start this one off at Shanks. Look, being fearful as he should be. TheShy on the backline. Whoa! That hurts. It's a bit of a bounty, but TheShy's about to clobber in. Weibo Gaming making short work of Beishang as he's being caught out, but still not dead. Jumps on in, and this is what you expect. Still without a kill of this game. BiuBiu's drawn in, and father says no. Weibo Gaming 14-0 at 22 minutes, and we said games were going longer, Lyric.
Yeah, I mean, we just set up how, like, WE, maybe if they find an ace into a Baron, they come back. Weibo, find a Baron, and then find an ace. You know, this game's done and dusted. I'll give the silver lining. Reheal or heal, able to steal away the dragon, get a bounty. Also not a masochist like we saw Mark was in the last game and not throwing himself into harm's way. As we'll get to see here, huge damage coming up from TheShy with that accelerated shot class, but still heal able to pick it up in the end. And then Angel flashing forward to land the CC to hope to get away. And even though Heal does try to ult himself out to safety, still does end up going down in the end. And yeah, this is probably going to be the last time hopefully the last time we see the Sun get punished.
Yeah, hopefully last time we go into a replay, because Weibo Gaming have this game in the palm of their hand for ages, folks. Like, this is what you expect. There's a lot of Weibo Gaming fans out there. Everyone knows I'm a TheShy fan because I also am very rude to him sometimes as well. You know, with love comes hate. But for WE, also I'm a historic fan. WE were my first LPL, you know, team. First team I got experience to in 2017 Worlds. We all remember 957 Kled. We remember that top lane. It was absolutely massive. As BiuBiu shows me up a little bit here. On with the Tempered Fate, slows down time. TheShy's in the middle of it all, but still hasn't died. Finally, though, WE get their first kill. Yeah! All right. Well, that's one. Whee! But what's happening to the rest of the map? 17 kills now. Weibo Gaming make it 18, and there's a 19th on the fountain. So while WE finally get a kill, I think, Lyric, it might be too late.
It is too late, partners. You said yeehaw, and I'm bringing out my inner Mazel.
Oh, man. Well, we've got two Americans on the team, one country and one... I don't know America well. What is your place? What?
The desert, lots of sand and cacti.
Okay, like what? The Western. Like, you are Lee Van Cleef. You are Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
Clint Eastwood. That's an honor.
Yeah, that's an honor in some ways, not an honor in others. But, you know, still not as vibrant as Mazel at his Yeehas is.
That was quick.
That
was done in an instant. Let's be real. What do you say about a game where TheShy's sitting back like, oh, guess we're having hot pot.
I'm just happy. I'm just happy that we came in today, and it's like, okay, what should our highlight matchup be? Like, is top lane maybe the most two important players on the team? No. But 100% are these two players just going to keep running into each other? Of course, hell yes, they are. I'm glad that it panned out. And yeah, sadly, when that happens, it typically does lead to one team finding a swift, decisive stomp. Yeah. I mean, Weibo overall, though, you already hit on it, kind of moving around much better together as a unit. Not too much resistance put up by WE. I feel like we saw WE were linking up and moving well around objective timers, but not doing anything else besides that. So it kind of gave Weibo a lot of breathing room to get this Bard out onto the map. We saw Ahri moving a lot, SofM getting involved in these plays, and overall just able to find the picks they needed. And once again, I feel like a lot of it, especially off Angel, we saw in the mid lane, him going forward, flashing into a charm. At the Dragon fight as well, flashes into the Everfrost. So many times, this guy's just being one of the difference makers to actually make sure fights happen for Weibo.
I mean, again, it's been a consistent edge that Weibo Gaming have been using well. Props are on here on this Bard. Didn't get much going in the first 10 minutes, but it was a couple of really significant plays that pushed it from a bit of a sleeper game to an absolute, powwow that ended up with Weibo Gaming getting a lot of profits by the end of it. TheShy lyric, let's be real, he'll get MVP. We don't need to leave that one out to dry. He's going to get MVP. There's no way. Because at this point, when you see that man body lane and you know how much he carries with the top side, everyone out there's like, well, we have to vote for TheShy again. It's just how it works. Look at his damage. Ooh, maybe Huanfeng. Okay. Damn, no. It'll be TheShy.
Yeah, I think it'll be TheShy as well. I think if you look at, like, in terms of setup, who had the most impact, it was Angel. If you look at the, damage and, just raw power, I think it was definitely TheShy who just came in strong. Right, again, Huanfeng doing a ton of damage, hitting a lot with those mystic shots in team fights. But, I mean, across the board, this was just a complete dismantling of WE, right? So, ultimately, however an MVP pans out, I think it's kind of justifiable coming out from the broadcast. As we see here, pretty stock and standard, right? Solid kill participations across the board for every member on the side of Weibo, and also just a nice share of damage coming out from your two poke champions.
But